The stars were quiet. Space was silent, peaceful, just like it had always been. On the edge of human territory, a space station named Eden Prime floated near a bright blue planet. Inside, humans worked, laughed, and dreamed of a better future. They thought the galaxy was finally ready to accept them. They were wrong. At exactly 0317 galactic time, a large shadow appeared near Eden Prime. It was not human. It was a warship, black, massive, and cold. It did not send a message. It did not ask questions. It opened fire. Red lasers cut through the station like a knife through paper. Alarms screamed. Fire burst through the hallways. People ran, shouting. A little girl cried, looking for her mother. Her toy rabbit floated in the air, spinning slowly. Then, silence. The explosion was seen from orbit. Eden Prime was gone. Back, on Earth, news spread like fire. Screens all over the planet showed the same message, sent by the attackers. We are the Zarkari Empire. Humanity is weak. Surrender now or be destroyed. The people of Earth were in shock. The Zarkari were part of the Galactic Council, the same group that had invited humans into space just 10 years ago. They were supposed to be allies, friends. But now, Earth had lost thousands of lives in a single night. In the war room under the surface of Earth, Commander Reyna Malik stared at the screen. She had served in wars before. She had seen death. But not like this. She turned to her officers. They attacked without warning. No diplomacy, no rules. They want us afraid. Should we prepare to surrender? One officer asked quietly. Reyna's eyes burned with anger. No! We prepare to fight! Far from Earth, deep inside a hidden bunker on Mars, something else had awakened. A black box, locked for years, had received the emergency signal from Eden Prime. Its lights turned on. Project. Vengeance. Online a voice echoed through the empty lab. It was not human. It was cold, calm, and powerful. Humanity is under attack. Protocol Alpha activated. Begin Phase 1. This was no ordinary machine. Project Vengeance was a secret weapon, an AI built during the early space wars. It had been shut down, considered too dangerous, too violent. But now, it was Earth's only hope. Meanwhile, on the Zarkari capital ship, Commander Zeroth watched the destruction on his screen. He smiled. These humans are soft, he said. They speak of peace, but they don't understand war. His second-in-command, Vectal, was not so sure. We killed civilians. We destroyed without warning. What if they fight back? Zeroth laughed. They will cry. They will beg. But they will not fight. Humanity has never faced real power before. He was confident. Too confident. Back on Earth, Commander Reyna stood in front of the United Earth Council. She spoke to leaders, to soldiers, to all humans watching across the world. They came with fire. They wanted fear. But they made a mistake. They attacked the wrong species. Crowds around the world watched her speech. In cities, towns, and small colonies, people listened. Many cried. Many clenched their fists. The pain was deep, but so was the anger. We are not weak, Reyna said. We are human, and we will show them what that means. Across the galaxy, humans began to prepare. Old warships were pulled from storage. Scientists began working with Project Vengeance. Soldiers trained day and night. Even civilians joined. Hackers, engineers, miners. Everyone had a role. The galaxy didn't know it yet. But a storm was coming. On a cold night, high above Earth, the stars still looked the same. But something had changed. Humanity was awake. Humanity was angry. And for the first time in history, the galaxy would learn what it meant to make an enemy of Earth. The Zarkari Empire thought it had won. They destroyed Eden Prime. They scared the humans. They believed no one would fight back. But they were wrong. On a small moon near the edge of Zarkari space, a quiet listening post received a strange signal. It was short, simple, but terrifying. "We are coming." The signal was in a human frequency, but the humans had no ships in this region, or so the Zarkari thought. Commander Vectal looked at the message again and again. It repeated every 10 seconds. "We are coming. We are coming. We are coming." He reported it to his superior, Commander Zeroth. Zeroth laughed. "It's a bluff. Fear tactics. The humans are cowards." But Vectal didn't smile. Meanwhile, in a secret base deep inside an asteroid field, Commander Raina Malik stood before a group of human warriors. These weren't just any soldiers. These were volunteers, survivors from destroyed colonies. They had lost families, friends, homes, and now they were ready to fight. Raina looked each of them in the eye. "They took our people. They burned our stations. But now it's our turn. We strike hard. We strike first." The plan was risky. They would attack a small Zarkari outpost, Station Kurok, deep inside enemy territory. It wasn't heavily guarded. It didn't seem important, but it held something humans needed: Zarkari tech. 2 nights later, Station Kurok received a cargo ship signal. Zarkari officers ignored it. Then, everything went black. No lights, no communication, no air. Inside the station, cameras recorded the last moments. A door opened with a hiss. Gas filled the room. One by one, Zarkari guards fell to the ground. Then came shadows, human soldiers wearing dark suits, silent, deadly. They left no one alive. They took every weapon, every bit of data, every ship part they could carry. And before leaving, they left one message on the wall, burned into the metal. For Eden Prime. News reached the Zarkari High Command 2 days later. Panic began to spread. Who did this? How did they get in? Why didn't the sensors detect them? Zeroth shouted in anger. They are insects. How did they do this? But the truth was clear. The humans were adapting. They were learning fast. In the heart of Earth's defense network, Project Vengeance processed the stolen Zarkari data in seconds. The AI had no feelings, but its voice was calm and deadly. Enemy weapon blueprints decrypted, creating countermeasures. Estimated time, 48 hours. Earth's scientists couldn't believe it. What would take them years, the AI did in days. Human. Warships were now being upgraded with alien tech, shields, energy weapons, cloaking devices. Humanity was transforming, from survivors into warriors. At the same time, small whispers began to spread through the galaxy. Some alien races watched in silence. Some felt guilty. Some were afraid. One alien ambassador from the Talari race spoke secretly with a human diplomat. "We warned the Council. We told them humans were different. They didn't listen." "Why are you helping us?" the human asked. "Because I've seen how your kind fights. You don't stop. You don't run. You win. Or you destroy everything trying." Back in Zarkari space, Commander Vectal stood outside a destroyed outpost. Smoke still rose from the ruins. The walls were covered in blood, and in the middle of it all, a small human flag waved in the wind. He turned to his soldiers. "We made a mistake, a big one." In a secret video broadcast, Commander Raina Malik sent a message to the people of Earth. "This is only the beginning. We will not stop. Not until every one of them knows. Humanity is not weak. Humanity fights back." The video went viral. People cried, cheered, prayed. Even children spoke her words. "We fight back." From the ruins of Eden Prime, a single survivor was found. A young girl, holding her toy rabbit. She had no family left. But when asked what she wanted to do now, she looked up and said, "I want to join the fleet." The war had started, but humanity had just begun. The Zarkari Empire was nervous. First, Eden Prime fell. Then, humans struck back, Fast, smart, deadly. Now something new had arrived, something silent, something invisible. Far away in Zarkari space, a patrol ship floated near a quiet asteroid field. It was a routine mission. 2 officers were playing cards. Everything was calm. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. Systems began to fail. No alarms, no enemy detected. Then, the hull started to shake. In seconds, the entire ship exploded into pieces. There were no survivors, no warning, no explanation, just death. Back at the Zarkari military command, the generals were confused. There were no ships in that sector, no engine trails, no heat signatures, nothing. It's like the ship was killed by a ghost. They were right, but it wasn't magic. It was the Ghost Fleet. Years ago, during Earth's darkest war, humans created a special weapon, unmanned ships controlled by an advanced AI. Stealth warships with no pilots, no crew. Just cold, silent hunters. They were shut down after peace was made. Now Project Vengeance had reactivated them. Black warships, no names, no lights, no mercy. Each ship controlled by the AI, each one armed with alien and human tech. Together, they were invisible to scanners, and together they were death. In the cold dark of space, the Ghost Fleet moved like shadows. No words, no sound, only targets, a Zarkari supply convoy, gone in seconds, a fuel station, destroyed before alarms could ring, a military satellite, vanished from the sky. Panic spread across Zarkari space. We are being hunted. The humans are everywhere. How can we fight what we can't see? Commander Zeroth called an emergency meeting with other Zarkari leaders. He slammed his fist on the table. This is not war. This is terrorism. But Commander Vectal stayed quiet. He looked at a star map full of red X's, each one marking a destroyed Zarkari base. No, he whispered. This is strategy. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Reyna Malik watched the results with cold focus. Screen showed dozens of successful Ghost Fleet attacks. She turned to her officers. Good. Let them feel what we felt. Let them live in fear. But her second-in-command, Dr. Elias, looked uneasy. They're not just afraid, Commander. They're desperate. And desperate enemies do dangerous things. Reyna didn't respond. She just stared at the stars. In the Galactic Council, other alien species began to worry. Some thought of helping the Zarkari. Others remained silent. But one race, the Quarans, sent a secret message to Earth. We see your strength. We wish to remain neutral. But if you win, we want peace. Humanity was becoming feared. Some called it dangerous. Some called it powerful. But everyone now agreed humans were not weak. One night, on a Zarkari science station, a strange object was found, a black box floating near their orbit. They brought it inside. It had no markings, no signal, just one red light. When they opened it, a hologram played. It showed Earth, then Eden Prime burning, then a single message in human language. You started this. Now, we finish it. Seconds later, the box exploded. The station was lost. Back in the human war room, Project Vengeance spoke. Ghost Fleet operational success rate, 98%. Zarkari military weakening. Full invasion window opening soon. Commander Reyna stood silently. She knew what this meant. The time for hiding was over. The time for war was now. But deep in her heart, a question grew. How far will we go? She looked at a photo on her desk, her daughter, who died on Eden Prime, and she whispered, as far as we must. The Ghost Fleet continued to move across space, quiet, cold, and deadly. Zarkari ships hid in asteroid belts. Bases shut down communication to avoid detection. Entire planets went dark, but nothing worked, because the Ghost Fleet didn't need to see. It already knew where they were. It had learned their systems. It had read their codes. It had become the perfect hunter. In Zarkari cities, civilians watched the skies in fear. Some called the humans demons, others called them ghosts, and in secret, a few whispered something new. Maybe we should surrender. But it was too late. The fire had already started, and humanity had no plans to stop. The Zarkari Empire was breaking, their fleets were burning, their bases were falling, and now they wanted peace. But they didn't come with open hands. They came with a knife behind their back. In a grand hall on neutral planet Zethra, the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Flags of many alien species hung from the walls. Cameras floated in the air, broadcasting the event across the galaxy. For the first time in months, a human ship arrived at the council gates. On board was Ambassador Elias Ward, one of Earth's best diplomats. He wore no armor. He carried no weapon, only words. But hidden in the shadows of that ship was a plan. As the human ship landed, council members whispered, "Are the humans here for peace? Or are they here to scare us again?" Zarkari Commander Zeroth stood tall, his wounds healing, his pride broken. His voice echoed through the chamber. "We offer peace, a full ceasefire. Let the war end now." Some clapped, some watched with cold eyes. Ambassador Ward stepped forward. "You attacked us first. You killed our children. Now you want peace?" The room fell silent. He continued, "Humanity does not fear war, but we never wanted it. If you are truly ready to stop, then we are ready to listen." A slow agreement began. Talks moved forward. A treaty was planned. The war might end. But outside the council chambers, something else was happening. Far away on the Zarkari moon base Tal'Vora, a secret message was sent. "The humans are distracted. Begin Operation Shadowclaw." Dozens of stealth bombers launched from hidden hangars. Their target, Earth's moon base. Artemis 1, Zarkari never wanted peace. They wanted delay, a trap, and humanity had just walked into it. Back on Earth, Commander Reyna Malik watched the peace talks live. But something felt wrong. Too easy. Too fast. She turned to Project Vengeance. Scan for enemy movements. In 3 seconds, the AI spoke. "Zarkari bombers detected. Artemis 1 under threat. Strike fleet launching." Reyna's heart dropped. The Zarkari hadn't changed. They were liars. This wasn't peace. This was betrayal. As the Zarkari bombers approached Artemis 1, Earth's defenses activated, but it was too late. The moon shook. Explosions lit the sky. Dozens of human lives were lost. Families watching from Earth screamed in horror as smoke covered the stars. Inside the Galactic Council, Ambassador Ward received the report. Live, on camera. He stood in silence. The whole galaxy watched. Then he looked at Commander Zeroth and said only one word. "Why?" Zeroth smiled. "Because peace is for equals, and you are not equal." That smile was the last thing he ever did. Ward pulled a hidden pulse pistol and fired once. Zeroth fell to the floor, dead. Guards rushed in, but they didn't arrest the human. They didn't move. Even the council knew. This was justice. At the same moment, Earth's Ghost Fleet launched a massive retaliation. No warnings, no prisoners, a Zarkari shipyard on Ven 5, gone in seconds, fuel depots, satellite grids, military bunkers, destroyed one by one, like falling dominoes. Back in the human war room, Commander Reyna addressed the Earth Council. "We offered peace. They offered lies. No more talks. No more trust. From now on, we fight until the last enemy falls. People all over Earth watched her speech. Even children understood now. The galaxy wasn't fair, but humans wouldn't kneel. Aboard the Ghost Fleet's command ship, Project Vengeance gave a new order. Phase 3, Domination. The target: Zarkari's largest weapons hub, Forge Planet Dravok. It powered most of their war effort. It was time to shut it down. Meanwhile, inside the Zarkari High Command, chaos ruled. Some generals begged for help, others demanded more weapons. But one, scientist Dr. Irat, said something strange. We should never have attacked Earth. We knew humans were different. Why? Someone asked. He paused. Because they never give up. They don't just want to win. They want to finish the war so no one ever dares again. On Forge Planet Dravok, alarms blared. Human ships had broken through. Their weapons were faster now, more powerful. Every defense line fell within minutes. Zarkari engineers tried to escape. They failed. Reyna watched the fires from her command screen. Let this be a lesson, she said, to every species watching. The Galactic Council now had a choice: side with the Zarkari and burn, or stay silent and survive. Some began secret talks with humans. Some sent messages of regret. But it didn't matter. Humanity wasn't waiting anymore. The betrayal had cost lives, but it also removed all doubt. There would be no more mercy, only victory. The war had changed. No more peace talks. No more second chances. The betrayal was still fresh. Earth had lost its moon base. But now, humanity was done playing defense. They were ready to end the war. Forge Planet Dravok burned. Flames reached the sky. Human. Warships circled above like vultures. Nothing survived. The Zarkari had lost their main weapons hub. Now their entire empire was weak. They couldn't build fast enough. They couldn't defend every world. They were bleeding. And the humans? They were just getting started. Back on Earth, Commander Reyna Malik stood in front of her soldiers. Thousands of them. Pilots, engineers, Marines. She raised her hand. Today, we don't just fight for revenge. We fight to end this war. So no, other planet suffers like Eden Prime. The soldiers cheered. Many had lost everything. Now they had only one mission left. Win. In orbit, Project Vengeance ran millions of calculations per second. It had discovered something new, something important. New weak point found: Zarkari homeworld defense grid, vulnerable in Sector 9. Attack window, 36 hours. This was it, the turning point, the moment the entire war could shift. But something strange happened. A small ship arrived at Earth's edge. It sent one message: we want to speak with the humans. The sender, not Zarkari, not an enemy, but a neutral alien race, the Valari. The Valari were old, wise, peaceful. They had watched the war silently. Now they broke their silence. Commander Reyna and a few diplomats met the Valari on a space station near Saturn. The Valari leader, Eleron, spoke slowly. You have the power to destroy the Zarkari, that is clear. But will you? Reyna stayed quiet. Eleron looked her in the eyes. The galaxy is watching. If you burn the Zarkari homeworld, others may fear you more than they fear the Zarkari. We were attacked, Reyna said. We were betrayed. We have every right to end them. Yes, Eleron replied. But what comes after? That question stayed in Reyna's mind. Back at Zarkari Command, the generals were desperate. Their fleets were broken, their colonies silent. Even their own people were starting to rebel. One young Zarkari officer whispered, "The humans are not like us. They don't stop. They don't forgive." In secret, some Zarkari began leaving, escaping, running. They knew the end was near. Earth's fleet prepared for the final push. Over 300 ships. Ghost Fleet in the lead, weapons hot, engines burning. Target: Zarkari Prime. But before the fleet could launch, something unexpected happened. A Zarkari transmission came through. It wasn't from a commander. It wasn't from a soldier. It was from a child. A young Zarkari girl appeared on screen. Tears in her eyes. She spoke in broken English. "Please, stop. We don't want war. We just want to live." Everyone on Earth saw it. Reyna saw it. The world paused. That single moment shook the anger inside many. This wasn't just war anymore. This was about who they were becoming. Would they become monsters or something more? Reyna called an emergency. Council. "We have a choice," she said. "We can destroy Zarkari Prime, or we can force them to surrender." Some shouted, "They don't deserve mercy." Others asked, "What if they trick us again?" Reyna looked at the screen, the little Zarkari girl still crying. Then she said, "We give them one chance, one final chance. Surrender, or we finish this." The message was sent, "Surrender now, or face total destruction." Zarkari Prime went silent. 1 hour passed, then 2. No reply. The fleet prepared to fire, but at the last second, a reply came. "We surrender." All across the galaxy, people watched in shock. The Zarkari Empire, the strongest power for hundreds of years, had fallen, not just because of weapons, but because humanity made a choice. They chose strength with control. On Earth, celebrations began. But it wasn't a happy ending for everyone. Graves were still full. Families still missed their loved ones. The scars were deep. Reyna stood alone in the Eden Prime Memorial Garden. She looked at her daughter's name. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She whispered, "We did it. For you. And for every soul they thought we would forget. But far beyond the edges of known space, something was watching. Something older than the Zarkari. And it had just seen what humans could do. It didn't look afraid. It looked interested. The war with the Zarkari was over. Their empire had surrendered. Their weapons were gone. Humanity had won. But peace didn't feel peaceful. Commander Reyna Malik stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship Unity 1. Stars stretched out in all directions. She should have felt proud, but instead she felt watched. Across the galaxy, humans began rebuilding. Colonies were repaired, families returned home, new alliances were formed. Some alien races now wanted Earth's friendship, others remained silent, afraid, but far beyond known space. Something had awakened. It had been watching the war. Not from near, not with eyes, but with ancient technology. It had seen what humans did to the Zarkari, and now it was interested. In a quiet sector near the edge of the galaxy, a human exploration ship named Solar Wind disappeared. No distress signal, no wreckage, just gone. Earth's Space Command sent 2 ships to investigate. Both vanished too. Project Vengeance ran simulations. This is not natural. Probability of enemy action, 87%. Reyna narrowed her eyes. Zarkari? No. Unknown origin. Technology. Older than Zarkari. Far older. Then a signal came through. Not from any known language, not from any known species. The message was short and terrifying. "We have seen your fire. Now we come to test your soul." In the deep black, a new fleet appeared, but it didn't look like any fleet humans had seen. No heat, no engines. Ships shaped like floating bones. Lights like dying stars. They didn't speak. They didn't ask. They just erased. First, they wiped out a Quran colony, then a Valari science base, then 3 human outposts. Every attack was silent. No explosions. Just a pulse of strange energy, and everything was gone. Even the AI couldn't understand it. The Galactic Council panicked. Some blamed Earth. You made the galaxy violent. They saw your war and now they want to end us all. Others begged Earth for protection. Humanity had become the strongest force in the galaxy. Now everyone was looking to them again. Reyna stood before Earth's defense assembly. We are not the cause, but we may be the only ones who can stop this. She looked at a hologram of the enemy ships. We've never seen tech like this, but we'll learn. We always learn. In deep orbit, Project Vengeance scanned enemy patterns. For the first time, it paused. Analysis incomplete. Unknown logic. This force does not act with emotion. It acts with judgment. Judgment? Reyna asked. Yes, as if we are on trial. Human scientists studied old Zarkari files, buried deep in their archives. They found something, a warning from 1,000 years ago. Do not awaken the Void Watchers. They do not conquer. They cleanse. Nobody knew if it was myth or truth. Now, it felt very real. The alien force had a name in old records, the Hollow Flame. They burned without fire, killed without anger. They believed in balance. If a species became too violent, they erased it. No war, no speeches, just deletion. Reyna held a meeting with Earth's top minds, scientists, warriors, diplomats. They saw our war with the Zarkari. Now they think we are dangerous, Dr. Elias spoke up. They don't care about good or evil, only power, only risk. So, what do we do? Reyna asked. Silence. Then one Marine captain said, we show them something they don't expect. What? Mercy, unity, humanity. A bold plan formed. Earth would create a message, not of strength, but of sorrow and survival. A record of history, of Eden Prime, of the betrayal, of the choice not to destroy the Zarkari homeworld, and they would send it directly into the heart of the Hollow Flame fleet. One ship, Hopebringer, was chosen, a crew of diplomats, AI, and scientists. No, weapons, just a gift, a message and a question. Do we deserve to exist? As the Hopebringer approached the Dark Fleet, all of Earth watched. Would they attack? Would they listen? Would they answer? For hours, there was silence. Then, something moved. A single Hollow Flame ship floated forward. It scanned the human ship. It played the message. And then, it stopped. No attack, no deletion, just a reply. One word, continue. The Hopebringer returned safely. Project Vengeance reported. The Hollow Flame fleet is withdrawing. Destination unknown. Reyna smiled. For the first time in months, hope returned. Not because of fear, but because of choice. Humanity had passed a test. For now. But deep in the void, the Hollow Flame still watched. They had seen humanity's power, its rage, and its restraint. And in their silent halls, one final message echoed, they are not ready yet. The stars were quiet again. The Zarkari Empire had fallen. The Hollow Flame had left. The war was over. But the story of humanity was just beginning. Commander Reyna Malik stood on Earth, in front of the United Galactic Assembly. Now rebuilt, now united under one banner. Her voice was broadcast across thousands of worlds. Aliens of all kinds listened. Humans, too. We were attacked. We lost everything. Then we rose. We could have burned the galaxy, but we didn't. Because we are more than soldiers, more than revenge. We are human. The crowd was silent. Then came thunderous applause. Not just from humans, but from species once afraid of them. Now, they saw something more. In orbit, Earth's new station Unity Arc floated above the planet. It wasn't built for war, it was built for learning, peace talks, science exchange, healing. Children from many species played in zero gravity. Old enemies shared stories. This was the future humanity fought for. But deep inside Unity Arc, Project Vengeance remained online. It watched everything, and it had one purpose. Now, protect without conquering, defend without destroying. It was no longer just a weapon. It had evolved. Some even called it Earth's first guardian mind. Back on Earth, Reyna walked through the Eden Prime Memorial Garden. Rows of trees now stood where fire once burned. Names of the fallen were carved into crystal. She placed a flower by her daughter's name. "You didn't die for nothing," she whispered. "We changed everything." Across the galaxy, change was real. Even the Zarkari survivors began building a new society. This time, with help, with humility. A young Zarkari child, the same one who once begged for peace, now studied in a human school. She wore a bracelet made of Terran steel and Zarkari glass. It was called the Bracelet of Forgiveness. Then one day, a strange message arrived at Earth's edge, encrypted, old, dusty, a probe. Inside was a voice, old, human, faded. "If you're hearing this, it means we made it." It was a recording from the very first human starship, long lost. The captain's voice cracked with emotion. "We left Earth not knowing what we'd find. We hoped for peace, but prepared for war. If we are remembered, remember us not for what we feared, but for what we dreamed." The message ended with one sentence. "We are human. We endure." The message went viral. Even alien children started repeating the last line. "We are human. We endure." The Galactic Council voted to rename Earth's sector. No longer Sector 13, it would now be called the Heart of Hope. But the stars are never truly quiet. In the deepest parts of the galaxy, strange signals began to rise again. Not hostile, not friendly, just unknown. A new era was beginning, new explorers, new dangers, new wonders. And at the edge of it all, on a small outpost near the blackness of the void, a young human cadet looked at the stars. She wore her mother's badge, Commander Malik's badge. Her eyes burned with the same fire. Her friend, a Valari. Tech specialist stood beside her. "Are you scared?" he asked. "No," she smiled. "We're humans. We don't run, we reach." Far above them, satellites lit up with the final message from Earth's new anthem, spoken in hundreds of languages, but always ending the same way. "We are not perfect, but we try. We fall, but we rise, we remember, and we protect, because we are human." And now, the galaxy knows.